We start the tray fabrication by outlining the area that the tray will cover. So here we outline the buccal sulcus, we extend the line to the hamular notch, then the vibrating line, then to the hamular notch on the other side. The tray must extend to cover that area. And we draw the butterfly post-dam area with the pencil. We also outline the other side, the full depth of the sulcus on the cast, and we go around the freni, the labial sulcus, the full depth of the labial sulcus. We go around the labial frenum, then to the other side. The same thing for the lower cast. The full depth of the buccal sulcus is outlined using the pencil around the buccal frenum. The full depth of the labial sulcus and around the labial frenum. The buccal frenum on the other side. And the line is extended to cover the retromolar pad area and the full depth of the lingual sulcus. Now, a wax spacer is added to the cast. Here, half a sheet of modeling wax is enough for the upper cast. The thickness of the sheet is around 1.5 millimeter. The wax sheet is softened a little bit on the flame, and then the wax sheet is adapted to the cast. During the adaptation of the wax sheet, be careful of thinning the wax. In the areas where the wax is very thin or perforated, or where the teeth are transparent, we need to add an extra layer of wax so to get enough spacer for the impression material. The excess of wax is cut at the back of the cast, and the post-dam area is relieved from the cast. So the post-dam area is exposed and it's not covered by the wax spacer. Then wax is cut 1 millimeter shorter than the line drawn by the pencil. Then tissue stops are allocated. We need 3 to 4 widely distributed tissue stops. In these tissue stops, the tray material will contact the cast, and they help in stabilization of the tray after the wax spacer material is removed. We need 3 to 4 widely separated or widely distributed tissue stops. Wax is removed from the area of the tissue stop to expose the cast. we need enough width and depth for the tissue stop to be maintained after curing. On the lower cast, tissue stops are allocated in areas where there's a free end saddle. Tissue stop can be placed on the crest of the free end saddle. Vaseline, very thin layer of Vaseline, is painted on the exposed parts of the cast, so the acrylic will not stick to these areas. Then a very thin layer of Vaseline is also painted inside the tissue stops, so the acrylic material will not stick to the cast during curing. Then ready-made light cure acrylic sheets will be used to construct the tray. You can notice that a small amount of the material is adapted inside the tissue stops before the adaptation of the acrylic sheet itself. Then the acrylic sheet is adapted carefully around the cast. Be careful of thinning the acrylic sheet, so maintain the thickness of the sheet itself. Excess material is removed during the adaptation of the material. Make sure that the acrylic sheet is well adapted around the cast and the wax spacer, and most important, around the post-dam area. The sheet should cover the post-dam area. Also, the tray handle is fabricated at this stage from the excess material of acrylic. The tray handle must be mounted at around 45 degrees to the occlusal plane. The same is done for the lower cast. For easier adaptation of the material, the excess in the tongue space can be removed before adapting the acrylic sheet around the cast. Again, be careful of thinning the sheet material. Excess can be used to fill the areas which do not have enough material. After perfect adaptation of the acrylic sheet, the handle is made for the lower tray. The handle should have enough height and width to provide good grip of the tray during impression making. Then the tray is sent to the light curing box for 8 to 10 minutes for full curing. The trays now are fully cured and they will be removed from the cast. The tray might be removed with the full wax spacer inside it, or the wax spacer might remain on the cast. A selection of acrylic burrs are needed to finish and trim the tray. The tray border must be rounded and smooth with no sharp edges, so the outside of the tray is carefully trimmed with the acrylic burr to provide a roundation of the border. If the wax spacer is attached to the tray, it is removed at this stage. If the wax is cold, it comes out as one unit. Then perforations are made in the tray. Be careful not to place perforations on the areas of tissue stops. Perforations must be 5 millimeters apart, and they should be about 3 millimeters in diameter. Perforations are mainly placed around teeth to provide escape holes for the impression material. You can add a few perforations around the free end saddle or no perforations at all. This depends on the impression technique you're going to use. At the end, the tray should extend to the outlined area. It should have rounded and smooth borders. It must be stable and properly perforated, and the tray handle must provide good grip during impression making.